everyone, it's me, Zombie, and today we're gonna be making a Porg from Star Wars The Last Jedi. Porgs are those adorable little hamster bird alien things. If you want a cute little Porg as a prop, either for your Rey or your Luke costume, or if you just want a cool little Porg to put anywhere in any Porg appropriate place in your house, and this is the perfect video for you. If you want to learn how to make your own Porg, then keep on watching. In my workspace here, I'm actually starting out, whoa! I picked up these styrofoam balls from my local craft store. I thought they would make the perfect base for my Porg. I wanted my Porg to be about this big around, so this ball actually worked perfectly. And I'll be carving one of these smaller balls down for a good head shape to put on top just like that. The larger ball that I'm using is 11.9 centimeters in diameter, and the smaller ball that I'm using is 98 millimeters in diameter, or about 3.8 inches. Now I'll be carving some of the material off of these foam balls to get my Porg shape. And make sure you're always cutting away from yourself when carving down this foam. Especially this material cuts really easily. It's really easy for your knife to slip and hurt yourself. Now I have kind of the rough sculpture of my little Porg shape. I did hollow out the inside of the head just to make it fit on top of my bottom shape a little bit easier. It's kind of reminding me of a snowman right now. So I'm gonna hot glue my little Porg's head onto his little Porg styrofoam body. Looking at my reference picture, it looks like his head and body all kind of are connected together like this. So he looks less like a snowman and more of like an egg-shaped blob. So I am taking all of my little styrofoam chips and I'm just kind of mushing them into the right shape around my little neck crease right here. And I'm using my hot glue, just putting a little bit of glue where I need it, and then just pressing that material very gently in that crease, making sure not to burn myself on hot glue. And I'm gonna continue that all the way around the neck. Check it out, my little Porg shape is done. I think re-gluing a lot of the styrofoam on and really pressing it in and then carving away at it a little bit more until I was happy with the shape made a big difference. Now I'm gonna move on to the little face. Now, if you look at a Porg, you can see it usually has kind of like this open mouth, like gapey thing going on, kind of like that. So now that I have my little Porg shape, I'm starting to sculpt out some little face pieces in Sculpey. You can see this piece right here is supposed to be like the Porg's little jowl. With a tip of this pen, I'm also just gonna be indenting some of his little nostrils in there and figuring out exactly how I want that to look. And after I'm satisfied with how everything looks, I'm gonna put this in the oven and then glue it onto my little Porg guy here. After my little mouth slash nose piece came out of the oven, I found that I really had to press it hard against the styrofoam, causing it to break because I didn't bend it the right way before I baked it. But I filled in those little gaps with some hot glue, and once the fabric is over it, I'm hoping, in theory, that none of that will show up. I also cut out this little foam piece to kind of use as Porg's little extra jowl down here. And so I'm gonna be smoothing this out a little bit, and then I will be gluing it right where that little jawline is. Put some right on the back there. For my Porg's eyeballs, I got some 25 millimeter googly eyes, and now I'm going to paint those black to make them more accurate to Porg eyeballs. I hot glued my googly eyes onto a piece of cardboard and then spray painted them with some glossy black spray paint. For my Porg wing, I am just tracing out a rough shape onto a piece of scrap paper. I'm just looking at my reference picture and looking at how that wing is shaped. I'm noticing that the front is a little bit more curved than the back. And then I'm going to cut this shape out. So here is my Porg shape there. And that would be his little wing. I'm gonna be using my 6mm foam from TNT Cosplay Supply. I'll be tracing out 2 wings. After I have my 2 wings traced out onto my foam, I'm gonna be cutting them out with my utility knife. After I cut out my Porg wings, I'm gonna be using some sandpaper to round out some of those edges. So I got this felt by the yard at my local craft store, and it was like $5.99 per yard, and I only got a half yard of it. But to start covering my whole little Porg shape, I'm gonna be covering my wings that I just made out of foam with this first. How I do that is trace my little foam wing once on one side. I make sure to give it about 1/4 of an inch more off of the edge, and then I curl it inward and glue it all onto the inside of that foam. Then for the underside of the wing, I cut the wing shape, but just a little bit smaller to cover up that glued seam that I just made. And now I'm just kind of ruffling up the fleece around my seams right here, and also bending the under half of the wing inward like this, just to make it more of a little wing shape. Next, I'm using some brown paper to create patterns for all the felt pieces I want to put on the Porg's body. I'm transferring all the patterns onto my felt and then cutting them out. Luckily, this fabric has some give, so I can stretch it around this complex eggy blob shape. I'm using my trusty hot glue gun to tack down all the edges as I stretch the material where I need it to go. I made another pattern using brown paper and transferred it onto the felt. And making sure to be extra generous with the glue around the face area so the felt would stick just right. I'm using a pen to press in all the details on the Porg's face. The last felt piece took a bit of readjusting, but it all eventually came together. Now I'm gluing my finished wings onto the side of my Porg's body using hot glue. I'm using my alcohol markers to color my Porg. Porg's patterns vary, but their usual color patterns include gray, orange, black, white, and brown. I used some reference pictures and used my gray alcohol marker to color my Porg's wings and face. Now that the eyes are dry, I applied them to the face using hot glue. Once I was happy with the eye positions, I used the same marker to complete the gray patterns on the rest of the body. Since I didn't have an orange alcohol marker, I decided to use some watered down acrylic paint instead. I used a makeup brush to blend in the acrylic paint to fluff up the fleece on my Porg. This helps the pigment blend in and look more natural. Once the acrylic paint dried, I used a yellow alcohol marker to add more depth into the orange color. I crafted little Porg feet out of foam and painted them with a mixture of burnt orange and yellow acrylic paint. I used a Sharpie to color in all the nails on the toes of my little Porg feet. I used hot glue to glue them onto the Porg's body. And ta-da! There's my Porg. I think he turned out pretty cute. And guess what? I'm gonna send this Porg to one of you. I made this.
I love him. He's so cute.
You like him?
He's got little eyes and they're very cute.
Yeah.
Look at his little feet. They're very sweet. I'm keeping them.
You can't keep him.
He's mine.
We're giving him away.
I'm putting them into my sack.
No! No! We gotta give them away for charity. Give them back.
Nope.
For every $10 you donate to the charity Direct Relief, you'll be entered to win my Porg. Direct Relief is an awesome charity because 99% of their proceeds go directly to helping those in need. Direct Relief focuses on emergency response to natural disasters, disease prevention, and maternal and child health. The winner will be announced Thursday, January 4th, and all you have to do is donate to Direct Relief. Make sure you forward your donation confirmation to me at zonzonzombie@gmail.com. And remember, every $10 is an entry. I hope that watching me make this Porg inspires you to make something cool of your own. If you do make your own Porg, or you're making something right now, I'd love to see it. Go ahead, show it to me on your social media of choice. I would love to see what you're working on. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one, and I'll see you next time. Bye everybody!